Oh, what's your soul saying? Oh, is your world changing?
Hi there, welcome to part 2 of How to Overcome Artist Block. My name is Katie Bourgeois. If you haven't met me before, I want you to please go back to part 1 and watch it. But basically, here today we are getting into part 2 of the framework that I use in my online course that I founded, the Artist Block Workshop, which is an online course that helps creatives get over artist block and create the flourishing art practice of their dreams. So, last video we talked all about committing to making art on a regular basis, having a schedule. But the problem can be that that is easier said than done. So a lot of us are very well intentioned. We might even start off with it and then we get thrown off track somehow. Like things come up. And, sometimes we just feel tired or stressed, or it just feels like easier to lay there scrolling on your phone. So, what do you do? First of all, I want to make a distinction between real life obstacles and just excuses. There is a difference, and I completely honor those of you who have real life obstacles, some of which maybe physical or mental health, that you really need to work out with your doctor, or it may create real limitations for you that you have to work with. But outside of that, there may be other obstacles like things that just happen in life that you can expect to happen. For example, your kid suddenly is sick and needs to be picked up early from school during the time that you are going to make art. Or perhaps, a pipe bursts in your house and you have to deal with that. Things that just come up. And so the easy thing to do with this is to just have a backup plan. So instead of throwing your arms up in the air and saying, oh, well, I guess I just can't make art this week because this happened, think of a backup plan, like have a backup time, a backup day when you make up that missed time. It's as simple as that to keep things going. And if you have a really crazy week where things just completely blow up and you miss a session, just make sure that you don't miss next week. Even if you're tired, even if you're stressed, I want you to do it, because here's the thing, and I'll tell you, yesterday, I felt really tired. I had taken my son to the beach that weekend, and I don't sleep well at other people's houses, and we were doing an overnight at his grandmother's, and I slept for like 4 hours, and if you know me, I am not a person that can do well on little sleep. Like, I just turned into a zombie. I had to spend most of the day yesterday just trying to recover and like reading in bed and like sitting around. But eventually I just like kept feeling it. I'm like, I feel like painting would be good. And here's the thing with me, and I think it's probably true for you too. Even if you're feeling that lethargic, like, oh, I'm stressed out, oh, I'm tired. Once you actually get up and start moving, it will kind of go away. And so once I started painting, it felt really good. And I was like so glad that I did it. And, you like temporarily like don't feel that fatigue. So, and again, I'm not talking about like a real like severe medical condition, but just like generalized like feeling tired like from daily life that we all have. So that's just one example, but for you there might be other excuses. Like might be you might just feel stressed out, and you might just be numbing out by doing other things that feel easier, like scrolling social media. Or maybe you're someone that just feels like you need to clean your whole house, maybe you think there are other things that need to be done first, like work-related things or other tasks. And the truth is, we live in a world today where we always have stuff to do. We always have more stuff to do. There's just stuff being thrown at us. Need to call this person, need to send in this form, need to do this, that, blah, blah, blah. You know, you have to create that sacred time and push that all on the back burner for just an hour, just half an hour. You know, I only painted for an hour yesterday. That's all the time that I need. And I think you can do it. So I want you to think about what feels like an excuse and what is like a real reason. So an excuse would be a good like test for whether or not it's an excuse would be if let's say you had to do it. Let's say it was something that you absolutely had to do, like pick up your kid from school. If you're still able to go, let's pretend you have a kid, even if you don't. Or let's pretend you have to drop your car off somewhere at a certain time. You know, if you really couldn't pick up your kid at 3, then that would be a legitimate excuse. Or if you really couldn't pick your car up from the car mechanic at 3, then you probably do have a legitimate excuse. But if it's just like, I feel tired, I'm not going to pick up my kid. Like, no, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't just like leave a child there, or you wouldn't just like leave your car overnight at the car mechanics without even like calling them. You know what I mean? So that's how you know if it's a real excuse or not. So next time you feel like you're just going to blow off your painting session or your art making session, I want you to do that little test, and then I want you to just say, nope, I'm doing it. And I want you to just move your body and go to the space where you are going to make art, and just start for at least 5 minutes and then see if you can keep going after that. All right, so now, what is the problem here? The problem here is that although, you know, sticking with the schedule, being aware of your excuses are essential, there are still a few things that you really need to cover in order to fully and completely get over artist block. And so, you know, part of why these techniques worked for me and are working for me long term is because I have worked out the root of the block, the root of the problem. If you don't do that, what can happen is you can just burn out. You might be still making art once a week or once a day or whatever your schedule is. You might be sitting down and doing it, but you might feel uninspired. You might not like it. You might not be enjoying yourself. You might just want to give up because you're just not feeling it. And so this is important because you're not a robot. Yes, you need these techniques of discipline and overcoming excuses and obstacles in order to create that sacred container and that sacred time for yourself. That's critical. But we have to get at the root of the problem. We have to know, why do you have artist block? And we have to know, how can we shift our thinking so that when artist block comes back, because it probably will, we can overcome it. We already know what to do. We have that muscle that we can flex, and we can just, you know, stay on track. And not only that, but be more creative and make better art, you know, and enjoy it. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. We're going to talk about really like the meat of the artist block workshop method, and really like the deeper work that you need to do to not only overcome artist block, but become a more creative person. Okay, I will see you in that next video. Bye.